Hello, and welcome back to the Dungeons & Dragons Podcast UK. My name is Yasmin, and I will be the DM.
Hi, my name is Samantha. I play Laura Greyvale, and she is a sorceress from the province of Nephalia.
Hello, I'm Colin, and I play Cuin de Greymont, a paladin from Thraben in the province of Gavany.
Hi, I'm Ryan. I play Ogvar Shawfort, a goat-herding, mushroom-seeking ranger from Kessig.
Last week, the team got their hands on some tarts that offered a special something in the cooking charisma department, and once again they experienced pastry perfection. Meanwhile, with Stagwick seemingly silent and devoid of residents, Mary explains to them how the townsfolk live their lives and do their trade. Esther attempted to explain to Alora the complexities of vampiric life without success, resulting in the sorceress taking a tumble after a swift sideswipe at the leg of her stool. The party paladin stepped in, trying to put things into perspective, but it was clear that their magical contingent was yet to be convinced, leaving an uneasy truce on the topic of the undead. Episode 106, Collecting Contraband.
Esther looks at you rather approvingly, Cuin. She doesn't have another jam tart thrust at you, but she looks at you rather approvingly.
Alora's going to retreat back over to the table with her thoughts. She's not going to get the book out this time, but what she is going to do is she's going to get a little vial of holy water, and she's going to just sluice her eye out while she's contemplating.
Okay, cool. So, while you've been having this conversation, Mary has left to go back to the kitchen. She's gone to check on her bread. She reappears with another plate of tarts. And seemingly under the impression that nothing has happened. Well, I heard a bit of a clatter. Is everything all right? Can I get you another drink?
I think I'm okay for the moment. Thank you.
Cuin, not noticing that Esther drunk half of his ale, goes, it seems to have evaporated. Do you mind?
No, of course
would
not.
You just top it back up? Thank you.
Laura's going to, because she's now earwigging, she's going to, at that comment, just say, perhaps a vampire had it, Kieran.
Well, yeah, it was fluid.
She's just going to nod.
Esther audibly just sighs and then rolls her eyes heavenwards. Just you both Ogvar and Cuin, you hear her mutter, "Avacyn, give me strength." She looks at Mary. She says, "Oh, hello, dearie. A lovely cup of tea wouldn't go amiss, or if you've got anything stronger. But no, tea will do, thank you. If that's all right." And Mary, "Oh, yes, of course. I'll go and get a cup of tea for you. How do you take it?" And it's this very kind of domestic kind of do conversation going on right there. And Mary will reappear. She goes off to brew a cup of tea for Esther, and she reappears, and it's in a beautiful little mug covered with strawberry print pattern, accompanied with its own delicate little saucer and a couple of pink jam tarts. Just for Esther. Okay, so are there any other questions you want to ask at this point about Stagwick? Ask Mary anything specific about this contract? Esther, anything. Are there any other particular questions you want to ask?
I would think out of character now. Ogvar would sort of want to speak to Richard, so would probably want that to be the next port of call to find out what's...
What, the mayor?
Yeah, find out from the mayor. From the man who put the contract up, basically.
Yeah.
I'm open to...
No, I'm totally agree, because we're asking somebody who only knows a little about what's going on, and that could confuse the whole thing.
Okay. Everyone, while you're sat there, make me a spot check, please.
Who was that, sorry?
Everyone, sorry. Everyone.
Everyone.
Oh.
Spot.
Oh.
Okay.
Queuing, obviously pay more attention to the tarts, get a 9.
Alora, having rolled, a nat 20 plus 5 is a total of 25.
Okay.
Ogvar rolled a 15 within a plus 11, so that's a 26.
Woof! Wow, look at that. Okay. Yeah. So, Queuing, you don't pick up on this, but both Ogvar and Alora, as you kind of, I say, tune back into the room. So you've been having this conversation. Esther's been giving you a bit of a lesson. You know, all your focus has been drawn into kind of your conversation. You've all been focused in this area on the bar. And kind of coming back out and taking a step back out of this situation now, and kind of everyone returning back to kind of, you know, tempers are cooling, etc., etc. The both of you notice that there is someone missing. And as you take a look around, Simon, who was propped up kind of the corner of the bar, minding his own business, nursing a mug of mead, has disappeared. And all that's left in his place is the empty mug and a silver piece balanced on the rim.
Well, I'm across the room, so I probably, although
No, I mean,
I am across the room.
This is something that you kind of like, you've retreated, you're thinking about stuff, and then you think, where's Simon? And you look up and he's no longer there.
Okay.
You might not be able to see the silver piece balanced on the mug, but Ogvar, you certainly would.
Okay, yeah. So Ogvar will sort of just walk to where the mug is and sort of like look around.
Alora will just throw her hands sort of either side in the air as if to say, don't know, last time I looked he was there.
Sort of Ogvar will walk up to the glass and sort of just the mug, and just sort of flick the silver coin into it and just rattle around it. He's paid his tab, so I wonder if he's gone.
Well, that's odd. Where do you think he went?
Who?
Yeah, he's gone. Simon, he's gone.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, you know, okay. Well, you know, it's rude not to say goodbye, but I suppose
That was
we
a
don't
whole
really
heap of
know.
thank yous, wasn't it, really? Oh well, I suppose we did a good thing. That's all I can say.
Yes, it was more getting the kids than him. It was just a happy bonus.
It was for him, yeah.
Yeah, I would say he could cook. His herbs were definitely better than mine.
Oh yes.
Laura's going to get back up from the table and wander back over to the bar this time. She's going to move. She's going to move her backpack and go back over to the bar.
I just imagine there's no one else in the bar, is there? Laura's up, down.
Yeah. She can't settle. She's tired. She's irritable. She can't settle. Yeah, well, maybe he's, I don't know, he's probably somewhere in town. He'd probably show up later.
Well, I should hope so.
At the end of the day, he's his own person, isn't he?
Yes, but there's a vampire wandering around.
Yeah, but we are in town. It clearly isn't a problem for people right now. Just animals or so, it would seem. So I'm sure he's fine. He can't be in a worse predicament than he was earlier.
Well, that's very true. Maybe you don't.
Strange person.
Yes. A little bit distant.
Yeah, it was a little bit standoffish, I thought. But, well, you know, as I keep saying, we did a good thing. We helped him out, and hopefully he won't get himself into bother again.
No, hopefully not. So, Ogvar will... Is Mary there, or is Mary gone back in the kitchen?
Mary is there.
Did you say people will be coming back about 8 o'clock, did you say, Mary?
Yes. They should be back around 8 o'clock. But you're more than welcome to go and visit the fields and find him. I mean, anyone you ask will be able to point you in his direction. I suppose I said earlier, it's quite a strange setup for anyone who's not used to the Stagwick way of life. But all of our fields are communally owned, so they take it in rotas to do. Someone's on the peas, someone's on the wheat, someone's on the barley. So, you should be able to, whoever you talk to should be able to point you in his direction if you wish to go and, seek him out. Or you're more than welcome to, settle yourself in here. Drinks are on house, and I can whip you up some snacks and whatever you want. And the children upstairs, you're more than welcome. And
Okay. We've just come off the road. Ogvar looks at everybody else and... Do you want to go out to find him, or do you want to go a little look around the town? Do we need any resupplying anything, or there seems to be a number of there's an apothecary I did see.
Yeah, so we could have a quick walk around town and see what's what. Apothecary and might pop into that into Joy's.
Yeah, I mean, I'm tired, but it's still quite early on, so yeah, we'll have a bit of a brief wander. I don't really need to do anything too specific, but yeah, maybe some fresh air. I'm a bit crabby and tired, to be fair.
I hadn't noticed.
Oh, had you not?
No, not at all.
oh well, if you wanted, I can. I'm sure you'll probably want to wash up and have a bath later on, and if you just let me know when, I can get bath sorted and get all the water heated and everything.
Well, that would be good. There'd be a bit of a soak at the end of the day after a couple of days on the road. That'd be fantastic.
Oh, okay. Excellent. Well, you might not have noticed, but our bathhouse is actually at the back, near the stables. It's a small stone building just on the end of the stables. But what I'll do is I'll go and stoke the fire up for it, and hopefully it should mean that whenever you want to come and have a bath, it's ready. It's quite an innovative little system. We use the river water, and it's you draw it up and use the hand pump to draw the water out into the bath. But what we do is we have the pipe running through a fire, so that as the water's drawn up, it heats and it's stored, and then you draw it from the tank. And I'll get that sorted for you.
Mary, you've been really kind. You've been very hospitable. Thank you very much for all of your help.
No, thank you for returning our dear Ivona and Brady. It's going to be celebrations all round when everyone comes back and sees that they're here. We're a very tight-knit community, and it's we all work together to provide for the village. And Ivona and Brady going missing, that was quite the horrible shock.
Yeah, not least of all for them.
Yes. Okay, so you leave the tavern. Ogvar, as you leave the tavern, could you please make me a spot check?
I can. I can. I'm on the spot. Okay. And that is going to be a 5 plus 11 being 16.
5, 16. Okay. Excellent. Give me 1 second to grab the document. Okay, so with the 16, as you leave the tavern, your eye is drawn to essentially where the wall meets the ground. As you spot a small cluster of mushrooms.
Okay.
Having spent some time reading Professor Portiobello's book and having studied a bit of it in depth, you actually managed to recognise these mushrooms right off the bat. You recognise them as mead-boon fungus, or mead-boon fungi in this case, plural. And these fungi, they glisten slightly, and it's probably the light of the sun, just this very thin light of very pale sunlight which is peeking through the clouds. It's caught, it's kind of lighted on this fungus, which has caused this like glistening, which has probably just caught your eye. And these fungi, they glisten with a wet sheen, and these are a golden shade. Not fully golden, not sparkly golden, but they are like this kind of honeyed brown golden kind of look, like a beautiful mug of ale.
Okay.
So, the description of mead-boon fungi, according to Professor Portiobello, is that they proliferate the areas surrounding pubs, taverns, inns and alcoholic establishments. The liquor, which is so readily sloshed onto the ground from various merriment and people stumbling around drunk, provides nourishment for these mushrooms. And you know that when you bite into these mushrooms, eaten raw, you will experience a lovely meaty morsel, as the flavour of a random meat will suffuse your mouth. Also from this text, as you remember this because it's quite an odd one. From within this book, it is one of the odder types of mushrooms, but not so much for its effects, but for Professor Portiobello's comments on it. And you remember that these mushrooms are actually illegal.
Hey? Illegal?
These mushrooms are illegal. So, because they're such a popular kind of thing, they're such a unique flavour, they are really, really popular amongst pub goers, people who are out on a night out enjoying a drink in a tavern. They see these mushrooms, they will go wild over them because they taste absolutely delicious. And it was actually a well-known fact that a couple of years back, according to Professor, some pub owners were caught trying to grow these mushrooms in their establishments in the basement by pouring alcohol into pots to try and grow these mushrooms. However, the High Cathedral in Thraben has now placed an order upon the land which bans pub owners from doing this because it was deemed a health hazard due to the resourcing of the dregs of alcohol.
Health and safety. Innistrad health and safety.
Okay.
Fabulous, it gets everywhere, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So just from knowing this, you know that from her comments as well that they are quite valuable mushrooms, for one, and there is a prolific black market for them.
So are they illegal to grow or illegal to pick or a bit of both?
A bit of both. It's a bit of a hazy law, really. It's just a kind of a general kind of thing that they're illegal. But if you are in a city, for example, where say you're in Selhoff, outside the guild, and perhaps some alcohol's been sloshed around, and it's quite a rowdy area, you didn't see any mushrooms there. And this is most likely because when they do grow, they are plucked straight away and eaten. They're a hot commodity.
Okay.
And you can see just an entire cluster of them. You'd say probably about a dozen, if not more.
Okay, well, seeing that, and obviously, I wouldn't want anyone else to get into trouble by by picking these up. He thinks it's his civil duty to probably remove them from the area.
Okay. So you're gonna go and pluck them.
I think I'm going to take. If there's about a dozen, I'll probably take half.
Half.
Yes.
Okay. So you take 6 of these mushrooms. The cluster is looking a little thinner. And yeah, you take these mushrooms.
What are
You
they
can
called?
Mead boon.
mead boon fungi.
Mead or meat?
Mead.
Mead. Ah,
Mead,
okay.
as in the booze.
Yes.
Mead.
Okay, so yeah, and by taking them, I think the best place to put those would be straight in Orland to keep them fresh.
Okay. So you pop
Evidence.
for evidence. Okay. So yeah, you pop them straight into Orland. They disappear quite quickly.
Do keep them safe in there, but don't go eating them.
How could I eat them? Don't have a stomach.
I don't know about the anatomy of a sentient bag. I must apologise.
Okay.
What you do there, Ogre? Are those some mushrooms?
Yes. Ogvar sort of like just getting a bit close to Q and say, yes, they are, but they are slightly forbidden. So.
Well, I reckon you should. Well, if they're illegal.
I didn't say legal. I said forbidden.
Oh, forbidden. Oh. Well, in that case, I'd probably would be a moral duty to get rid of all of them.
Do you think so?
Yes. I mean, we can't have some poor, somebody, get rid of temptation, shall we say?
Well, I suppose so. Yes. Yes. Okay then. So. I suppose so. So yes. So under the instruction of his ever morally correct compass friend Kieran, he will put the rest of them in the bag.
Okay. Yeah. You pluck the rest of them. Yeah. So this is just a cluster by the door which you found.
Okay.
What's the hold up? I'm trying to get out the door. What's going on?
I've got all these mushrooms.
What mushrooms? Where? I can't see any.
Oh, apparently they're a bit. We've got them out the way so nobody can get up to any funny business with them.
Oh.
Oh, so no fungi then?
No, I'm not fungi. No.
Oh. Okay.
Ogre knows all about them.
Yes, I read about them in the book.
Oh, what, the book the Portia Bello gave you?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. This is coming useful then.
Yeah, yes.
It did look like an interesting book, I have to say.
Yes, I think it's going to be quite useful. I've been reading it on the quiet, and just when no one's around. It takes me a long time to read these things, so I've just been inwardly digesting it in my spare time.
If you'll pardon the pun.
Yes, it's a bit dodgy, so we've got them out the way.
Right.
Securely in Orland.
Civil duty and all that.
Yes.
Well, it's quite.
Well, of course. Okay. I guess we move on then.
Yes.
Let's go see what's going on in town.
Okay.
Okay. So you head back over this bridge over the river. It's quite a fast-flowing river. It's gushing quite quickly, but it's a fast flow, but it's also a free flow. You can't hear much obstruction, and you pass over this river into the main part of town. So where are you going?
I want to. Hey, Laura, do you fancy having a look at this Buck's Bakes?
I'm all for pastries because we're out.
Because we've got this very terribly smart and clever bag that can keep our food. No more dry rations.
Well, yes, I know, and he kept the last lot of bakery products really well. Good on you, Orland. You've been an absolute star, I have to say.
Don't need to tell me that, I already know.
Oh.
And I'm humble too.
Apparently so. Ogvar, Laura's just going to walk up next to Ogvar, sort of lean up because he's taller than her, and she's just going to whisper into his ear, Ogvar, one thing that we didn't get done in Selhoff that we were going to, because you got shot in the leg, I think, bit distracting, we were going to... Oh no, shot in the leg.
I was an adventure once, and then I took an arrow in the knee.
It was going to happen.
Skyrim.
Brilliant.
Huh?
Brilliant. Skyrim reference. I'll start that again.
Somebody stole your sweet rod.
It's in Orland. Ogvar, I think when you were going to go and head out and sell off to go and, put some glitzy diamante, as Orland puts it, on him,
Yes.
I did give you a couple of emeralds, a couple of green gems to put on him, but perhaps we should address that now, seeing as we got distracted and didn't get a chance, because we did promise him.
Oh, yes, this must be quite a good idea, yes. Do you think there's anywhere in town that could perform such a task?
Oh, I don't know, we'll have to see. Let's just have a look at what we find on the way down. If not, we'll have to ask.
Okay, I'll keep my eyes and ears open.
She's going to turn back to Kieran and say, "Yeah, I think that, we'll go and have a look at the bakery." And then she's going to hang back as they start to walk off, and she's going to repeat the same as she's just said to Ogvar, explain to Kieran what she's just said to Ogvar.
Okay.
She didn't want to outwardly say it because she wanted to stay fairly quiet with Orland.
Okay, so you are heading down towards the bakery, Buck's Bakes. Okay, so you walk down what is effectively the main street. On your left, you see the church. On the right, you pass by, you can hear the sound of a smithy, the dulcet ringing of a hammer on metal. And you also see this long building, this quite big building. It's probably not, it's smaller than the inn, but it's bigger than the surrounding buildings. It's the second biggest building within Stagwick. And as you progress further down the street past the general store, which has a hanging sign announcing it as Stag and Stag General Stores, you reach what appears to be, or it is, a courtyarded area. So on your left, you have, as you look in, you have a reasonably high wall. It's probably a story tall, and in this wall you have a single gap which has got a big archway entrance. And as you look in through this entrance, you can see that this area hosts 4 shops. The ground is cobbled with a central kind of sunken drain channel in the middle. And looking straight through, you can see that there is another archway in the other end of this area, which leads out onto what looks to be a compacted dirt road. And beyond that, you can see across the road another building, which appears to be, you would say that this is Carpenter's place, which was mentioned earlier. But as you walk into this courtyard area, the 4 shops are as follows. On your left, you have Services Cuts, which is the butcher's. Next to that, you have the Stag's Stitches, which appears to be a clothing shop. On your right, directly as you walk in, is Doe's Doses, the apothecary. And next to that, you can see Buck's Bakes, which is of course the aforementioned bakery. This area is a mishmash of a bit of an assault on the senses, really. You can obviously see these quite vibrant storefronts. The bakery itself is exuding kind of this golden light, and you can see it spilling out of the doorway. Obviously the oven, there are big ovens in here which are running very hot, and you can see the golden light from these ovens spilling out into the street. The apothecary, as you look in, you can see layers, stacked shelves of dusty jars filled with various different materials. You can see fresh leaves stored in big tall glass jars. You can see what appears to be various colours of crushed powder stored in small squat jars. You can see bunches of herbs hanging from the ceiling. It's a riot of kind of colours and herby colours and earthy tones. The butchers, you can't really see him, but you can see the front way, it's got kind of this beaded doorway, and the actual doorway is hung and it's strung across with long strings which have got wooden beads which have been strung upon them, and this forms like a beaded curtain in. And stag stitches, which is obviously the seamstress, you can see bolts of cloth, most of them in kind of dull colours. You can see greens, you can see greys, browns, beiges, earthy tones, but you can also see bright splashes of colour. You can see a bright splash of red, a fabric which appears to be patterned with small berries, and these fabrics, on these bolts, they are stacked up outside the shop. There are buckets of what appears to be like big wooden tubs full of spun yarn, spun wool. It's everything you could need. It's just kind of, it's all spilling out of this shop. It appears to be very, very thoroughly stocked. And you get the smells. You get the herby smells from the apothecary. You get the smell of freshly baked bread and warm pastries, savoury, sweet, spiced meat, obviously from some kind of cooked meat good they're selling. And then you can also smell kind of this tangy iron in the air, blood from the butchers, and the smell of raw meats. And you'd actually mostly say it's venison. It's this very kind of very bloody smell. It's not like smelling. You know when you walk into a butcher's and you can smell the different. There is a slight difference in smell from the meats. Like pork smells differently to lamb. You can smell the difference, and you can tell. I mean, Ogvar, being from kind of nature and woodland area, you can tell that this is more of a venison-y kind of smell than anything else.
Okay.
And yeah, it's quiet though. And this is something which is kind of run through the town. It is very quiet. You can hear the sound of a butcher's knife hitting a block. You can hear maybe a clanging of a dropped pan from the bakery. But otherwise it's very, very quiet. There's very little sound there.
Laura's going to clap Kieran on the back and say, "My friend, I need to take a bit of a detour." And she's just going to peel away from the other two. And Esther, presumably Esther's with us, we haven't asked.
Esther is most definitely with you. She followed
okay.
you out. And made
So she's going to peel away from the other three. And she's going to make her way into she's going to go into Stag Stitches.
Okay.
So she's going to open the door and just wander through, drinking in the atmosphere and some of the fabrics and whatnot.
So this door is already open.
Okay.
And you can actually see bolts of fabric have been propped up against the door. So it wouldn't be possible to close it anyway.
Right.
But yeah, so you enter into this shop. And it's quite dark, quite dank. And it is quite literally stacked with fabric. I mean, at some points you have to kind of move rolls of fabric out of the way to get through.
Right.
But as you progress through the shop, you see obviously these, and there are various different textures. You have kind of, they're very, and they're not so common textures. You get the occasional piece of thick velvet, which you feel thick velvet. But the majority of textures they're either rough spun, or they are a kind of like a cottony kind of material, or wool or felt. There aren't many kind of silks or satins or velvets. You might see the occasional piece, and when you flick the price tag, which is being kind of hung on it, you quickly flip it back over. They are very expensive per yard.
Okay. Does she see anybody in the shop?
As you reach the back of the shop, you see what appears to be a very elderly woman. You would say she is far older than Esther. You'd say maybe she's in her 80s, perhaps even. And she sits quite quietly at a loom. And it is this kind of this old style, you push the shuttle through and press on the pedal, pull it, push it back, weave it through the other way. And it's this very old mechanical process loom. And the loom itself looks, although it's old, very clearly aged and battered, and it's seen knocks, it's seen bumps, it's been scraped against, but it's clearly well cared for. It is well oiled, it doesn't squeak, it doesn't squeal, but it is well cared for. And she sits there on a small three-legged stool, quite happily weaving away at a speed that you've quite probably never seen before. She is rapid, despite her age.
Hello? Hello?
Hello there. Oh, sorry, I'll have to speak up a bit. And she turns to face what she assumes is your general direction. And as she looks at you, and you look at her, you can see that both her eyes are a milky white.
Hello? Hi. We've just arrived in town. I've just got here, but I'm in need of a couple of bits and pieces. Wondered if you could help me.
She smiles at you. It's a warm smile, a broad warm smile, with very few teeth. And she gives you this gummy smile. Oh, hello, dear. I thought I didn't recognise the voice. Not often we get visitors round here.
Laura takes a very brief moment to think. Okay, so she's blind. How on earth does she find anything in here? And then that kind of dissipates from her mind for want of not wanting to be rude. No, well, we've done a bit of a... We are travelling through. Wondered if you could help me. Do you have any dresses for a young girl?
Oh, dresses not...
She's probably around 8 or 9 years old.
Not pre-made, I'm afraid. We'd have to sew one up.
How long would it take you to make one for me?
Not long, dear. Maybe a couple of hours.
Oh, that quick.
Oh, time is money.
Yeah, I'd really like you to make a dress to a young local girl. She had a very unpleasant experience and her clothes got ruined, and I would really like... Well, I'm not good with children, so I just thought maybe a little gift might be nice. A nice new dress.
What was that? What was her name?
I believe her name was Ivona.
Ah, okay. Oh, Ivona. Is she back, is she?
Yes, we found her and her brother Brady. And they're okay, they're all right. They've just had a really horrible experience, and I don't do very well with children, but I'd really like to just cheer her up somehow, and her clothes were ruined, and it'd obviously been a pretty dress at some point, so I'd kind of like to buy her a dress.
She smiles at you, and it's again this very warm, gummy smile, and you see her eyes. She's got a heavily lined face, but you can see that these lines are very heavy around the mouth, around the crow's feet. She's clearly spent a lot of her life smiling, and she smiles at you, and oh, one second, Ivona, and with speed you would not expect from a woman who is clearly blind. She stands up, tucks her stall back to what appears to be a very precise position, and hustles behind this desk with no space on it. And as she hustles behind this desk, you can see that placed against the wall and almost tucked into the corner, there is what appears to be a kind of like a filing cabinet, not a filing cabinet, but like a pigeonhole. It's lots of racking, very thin racking. And she reaches up and she almost runs her hand up the side of this racking, counting the pigeonholes almost. And she stops at one, reaches up, and she is on her tiptoes, and she pulls out from this pigeonhole a wedge of parchment, and she pulls it out, pops it down onto the tabletop, knocking off several cotton reels as she does, which go bouncing across off the floor. And she begins to unfold this parchment, and before your eyes you see that as she unfolds this parchment, it is actually all being kind of glued together, and it is a pattern which is very clearly folded up. As she opens it, you can see that it is the perfect size and perfect pattern for a child's dress.
I'm looking for something nice, something quite fancy, something special. I don't know what colour, maybe a blue for a little girl or something. I don't know, something that's appropriate. I don't know about these things. I wondered if you could just make something for me, something appropriate for her age.
She smiles at you again. She's been beaming the entire time, Oh,
maybe with a bit of ribbon or...
ribbon, yes, ribbon, lace. Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
She unfolds, and as you take a closer look at this pattern, it is very clearly it's an interesting pattern which has been obviously made for a specific. The entire body of the dress is the same shape, but you can see that she pulls out different styles of arm, different styles of sleeve, different styles of kind of neckline, and they clearly all slot together to make the perfect pattern. Make me a spot check, please.
Spot check. It's not great. Spot. That's going to be a 9 all in.
Yeah, I mean, 10's about the average for a normal person. You'll probably still see it even with that score. But you can see along the top of this pattern, or kind of, I say the top, in the kind of middle of this pattern, the word Ivona written.
Right. Yeah, Alora's not going to question anything. Things work how they work in this town. She knows nothing about children, about clothing or anything else. She's used to buying clothing for herself occasionally, but she's just going to kind of shrug that off, and she's going to leave it to this lady who clearly knows what she's doing and clearly got the materials to make it.
Yeah. So this old lady, she smooths down the pattern on the table as much as possible with all the bits and bobs everywhere, and she hustles back around the desk, grabs you very firmly by the crook of the elbow. Come. And she leads you at an intense pace back through the row of fabrics, stops halfway down and points to her left and, pick a colour for me, dearie. I can't see that well.
Right, Alora will just pick a very strong shade of blue, like a royal blue.
Yeah, okay. So she manhandles this big roll of fabric, turns round to march back to the desk. Make me a reflex save, please.
Oh, God. Reflex. Okay, that's a 24 all in.
You managed to duck, and you kind of, I imagine you probably put your hand on your hat as you ducked in time, corks bubbling around all over the place, as she just swings round without a care in the world, roll of fabric spinning with her, as she damn near knocks you out with it. And she hustles back down to the front, and you follow her, and she's already unrolling this fabric and measuring this fabric out, cutting it, and she is off.
Should I pay you now or come back later?
Oh no, come back later, dear. You can discuss the little bits of decoration then.
That's fine. If I'm not back, it probably won't be back in today. I'll probably just pop in and collect it tomorrow if that's okay.
Oh, no worries.
That's wonderful. Well, my name's Alora, and I'll be back in tomorrow.
Oh, lovely to meet you, miss.
You are more than welcome. Thank you very much for doing this to me. And Alora's going to turn on a heel and go back out the shop and meet the others, who I assume are still outside. Are they still outside, or have they gone off?
So, Alvarkian, would you have waited outside for her to finish in the shop, or would you have begun investigating elsewhere?
I'd have probably gone to the. What do you reckon? She's just disappeared again. Fancy going to the cake shop first, or should we just wait for her?
Well, I suppose if we go to the cake shop, I'm pretty sure she'll find us in there.
I'd imagine so.
I imagine she'll be drawn that sort of way. I think I may pop into the smithy afterwards.
Yes, because the smith is over that way, isn't he?
Yes, just so they see the smoke from the furnace and get some more.
Yeah.
Okay, well, yes, to the cake shop.
Okay, so you head over to Buck's Bakes. Okay, so as you approach the shop, it is again this open door shop, and it seems to be something. This is quite a common theme. Most of the shops in this area, that the doors are open, just for anyone to wander in off the street. There doesn't appear to be this kind of most towns, Stelhoff, Drunau, even Gloomrest and Ironfort. Doors were closed, and when people came in, a bell rang. This is, you get the sense that this community, they are such a small, tight-knit community. They don't have visitors, and you know, from what has been said by Mary and Al, you are very much under the impression that visitors are a rarity in this parts, and it's very much this mentality of this is a village, we all trust each other, no one is going to take more than their fair share. So the doors are open, there are no bells, people don't need to be aware when people walk in. It's always that kind of attitude. But the door is open, and you can feel, as you get closer, you actually feel the heat coming from the shop itself. Obviously ovens are going, and it's going to be a warm atmosphere in there. But it is an absolutely gorgeous collection of smells, and it only gets stronger. You smell fresh bread, jams, sweet scents, a scent of kind of burning caramelizing sugar, and again this kind of savoury meat scent, and you actually smell kind of more meats as you get closer. You get this kind of like almost spicy sausage scent, but you also get this kind of smell of, you'd say, like cumin. It brings back particular memories of you from when you were, you know, living at home with your parents in the de Graymont household, where you'd be served at dinner time, sat on this very formal meal around this long table, with obviously you being at the end, being the youngest, and your brothers ahead of you leading up to your parents, and you know, they'd wheel in on silver serving trolleys like meat pies which they'd place on the table. It's a wonderful aroma of beautiful buttery rich pastry which, when it's cut open, gravy and meat and veg fills the air.
Oh, she's making me hungry. This is ridiculous.
I was thinking.
And it is almost like, you know, growing up in this very rich, very kind of noble environment, your family's very wealthy, you would have the creme de la creme of food, the richest cuts of meat, you know, the best cooks and chefs available in your household, and you would be used to this very, very rich fare. Obviously then coming away and joining the church, obviously the food there is nowhere near the quality. It is, you know, mass made food to serve the massive Cathars. And while it is still good quality food, and it is very nutritionally valuable, it isn't the same kind of indulgence. And even going around to different inns and obviously experiencing different foods from different places, you know, Selhoff, Dunau, the Guild, this food, although it's good and it's a hearty meal, it is just, you know, it didn't really ever have the same kind of quality as those meals you used to have at home. Perhaps they held a different quality and sense of the memories that you were building with the people that you were with at the time were, you know, more valuable, and they provided a richer experience than sat at this stiff dining table. But the food itself, you know, it smells of equal quality. It is gorgeous.
I say, Oliver, this takes me back. The smells. This looks like some really good food. Takes me back to you know, when I was a child, and the smells coming from the kitchens where the chefs used to prepare the food for Mummy and Daddy and the rest. You know, since I, you know, started at the church, the food sort of went downhill. There's plenty of it, you know, but it was more plain fare. But this just smells like heaven.
Yes, I'm not quite used to such finer things as you are, but yes, I can appreciate it. It smells hearty and good. And, yes, it smells quite good.
I think we should see if we can get a few, you know, rather than our, you know, the dry rations are serviceable, shall I say. But, you know, maybe if we get a few of these bits and pieces to take away as a little treat, you know.
Yes, okay, sounds, I'm agreeable to that.
Okay, wonderful. Let's see what's what.
After a brief break, the team leaves the tavern and set out to scout their surroundings. As Ogvar moves away from the Hart and Hearth, it was a cluster of mushrooms that had him mulling over some meaty matters of civilian concern. Having helpfully squirreled himself a secret supply, Kewin condones his actions on the grounds of a good deed well done. A promise is a promise, and the companions planned to outfit Orland with some glitz and glamour, meaning a trip to the forge was looming large on their to-do list. It is experiences that shape lives, and our sorceress was secretly heartbroken at the hardship Ivona and Brady had endured. A nagging need to do something nice saw her pay a visit to Stag's Stitches, where she commissioned a gorgeous new dress fit for a princess that she planned to present to Ivona before leaving for Genrix. Hey, you made it this far, so lend us your ears for a moment longer if you will. Firstly, we are most humbled that you are enjoying our yarn, and the crew thank you from the bottom of their hearts for your patronage. Producing this podcast is incredibly hard work, and as such, if you would like to support us, there are a few ways in which you could really make a difference. Sharing links to friends and family helps to spread the word so others like you can find us, and in turn they too can enjoy the show. Equally helpful is leaving a 5-star review on Spotify and any other streaming services, which will help us immensely. Or, if you feel you could go that extra mile and contribute a few coppers to keep our creative juices flowing, you can hop on over to our Buy Me a Coffee page or drop us an email. We would all be immensely grateful for your support in any form. Lastly, we invite you to visit our website, where you will find information on our campaign from backstories to settings. Join our Facebook group or follow us on Twitter. All the links are in our episode bios. Don't forget to smash the subscribe and download buttons so you never miss the next episode. See you all again next week, folks.